Former nurse Lucy Letby was accused of targeting 7 babies that had just entered the world, 5 baby boys and 2 baby girls at the hospital she worked at, and killing them. This isn't counting the 10 other babies she allegedly tried to kill. Those are the facts of the case that have been so publicized on any and every social media platform and news site. Yet the haunting question remains, what is it like losing a child to a baby killer? And why has Letby been accused of constantly badgering these grieving parents, almost like she's relishing in their suffering? This video is not for the faint of heart, and it might be upsetting to some viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. I'm your host, Greenman, and this is the Murder Encyclopedia. Lucy Letby, a former neonatal nurse, was accused of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 10 more at the Countess of Chester Hospital in England. Between just 2015 and 2016, Letby allegedly deliberately and forcefully injected air into the bodies of babies, either by injecting it into the umbilical cord or into the central line. Such a thing can cause air bubbles to enter the bloodstream, blocking blood flow to the heart. This led to multiple cardiac arrests and resulted in the deaths of these infants. But that wasn't the only way Letby allegedly ended the lives of these helpless victims. She would either force feed them milk or poison them with insulin. Since her victims were less than 1 year old and most of them were born prematurely, they were at the mercy of medical caretakers and neonatal nurses like Letby. They were the perfect targets to prey on. Letby would even allegedly document how she was helping them, since they were going to die anyways. A truly twisted and sickening view of human life. Some of her colleagues became suspicious of the wanton deaths going around her and refused to sit idly by. Letby was arrested following a year-long investigation into the high infant mortality rates at the hospital, and she was tried at the Manchester Crown Court in England. Unfortunately for the grieving parents and families, Letby was never the sort of person to let these parents grieve in peace or let them get the justice they needed without constantly badgering them. It got so bad that the courts had to intervene. As you can imagine, many people consider Lucy Letby an evil monster, but if there's any group of people that can appreciate just how evil this woman can be, it's the parents of these slain children. Each of the babies that allegedly suffered and died at Letby's hands was someone's son or daughter, and the parents of her victims had to sit in court for hours listening to the gruesome details of how their child was killed and harmed, thinking about how they trusted the wrong person and that they couldn't do anything to protect their precious babies. And to make an already horrifying matter worse, many consider former Nurse Letby's actions during the trial to be very insensitive. And when the court considered the details of Letby's case, it was so bad that they accused her of getting a thrill from watching parents as they grieve over the death of their babies, smiling as the parents cried their heart outs at their loss. During the proceedings, a handwritten note allegedly belonging to Letby surfaced. Its content included the line, "I am evil," and I for one cannot agree more, especially if all the allegations against Letby are true. Because while death might be inevitable, killing a harmless, helpless baby is the lowest of the low. To get a small glimpse into the heart-shattering reality of these parents, let's look at the case of the untimely death of baby I, whose name is protected under the law. Baby I was born in Liverpool Women's Hospital, and although she was born 10 weeks premature, weighing 970 grams, just over 2 pounds, she was progressing well. That is, until she was brought into Letby's ward. It seems she had been allegedly attempting to end baby I for months, but the small bundle of joy kept fighting for her life, until she couldn't fight anymore. First, her breathing developed problems, then her heart, and then her digestive system. Vomiting and critical desaturation set in. By the time she was rushed to the surgery ward, she died from both fatal air embolism and aspiration pneumonia. Clearly, things didn't add up, and when the matter was investigated, it was found that Letby had forced milk down her throat, after which she finished her off by forcing gas into the premature baby. The next day, the parents of baby I arrived at the Countess of Chester Hospital to be greeted by Lucy Letby and the lifeless body of their baby. It would seem killing the baby just wasn't enough for Letby, because as the parents were watching their baby girl receive her last bath, the infant's mother recounted how Letby kept interrupting their grieving process. According to her, Letby kept coming into the side room, smiling, going on and on about how she was present when their baby received her first bath, how much baby I loved to bathe, how it was such an awful situation, but they should focus on the positive memories. One could only wonder, why would a nurse that took care of your baby visit you after she passed with a smile on her face? As odd as that might be, her defense was even more bizarre. Why did she act so strangely with these grieving parents? Well, Letby claimed that she treats dead babies as though they are still alive, and she was only trying to help. That's right, Baby I's parents sat in court listening to Letby's explanations about how relevant or irrelevant it was that their baby was dead, because she treats dead bodies as though they were alive, and she wasn't kidding. In shock, the court asked, "Do you know the difference between being dead and alive?" And she responded with, "Yes, I was just trying to help." To put things in context, Letby was expected to help as she stood over the body of the screaming child while she allegedly pumped a toxic amount of gas into the baby. She was supposed to help as she told her junior colleague, Nurse Hudson, to ignore the cries of Baby I, claiming it was only hunger and rooting causing the discomfort. She was supposed to help when she was left alone to tend to the living baby, not afterwards. She didn't stop at just smiling in the faces of grieving parents. She started handwriting condolence cards and letters, sending them to the parents of her victims, as though it was the most natural thing in the world. Granted, when she was asked, she admitted that it was unusual for nurses to send handwritten cards. It was even more odd to snap and save each card meticulously before sending it. But all that didn't stop her. She kept sending, almost like a torment intended just for them, until the parents just couldn't bear it anymore. They begged the court to force Letby to stay away from them, and she did, for a time. Eventually, she allegedly started stalking them on social media platforms. After her arrest, it was revealed just how extensively she might have relished re-traumatizing these grieving parents. Lucy Letby's apartment was searched extensively, and that search revealed up-to-date information on the families she had affected, including their social media information. One of the most sickening allegations levied against Letby is that she tracked down the Facebook details of parents while she was actively attempting to poison their infants by injecting insulin, milk, or air into their tiny bodies. Almost as though she was waiting for an opportunity to strike the killing blow. Yet all this is speculation. When asked why she was essentially cyberstalking these parents, she refused to respond. What do you think would have driven a nurse to commit such heinous crimes? Or do you think these are all false allegations? I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below.